Congratulations on picking up your luxury on wheels, your new fifth wheel RV. Now, what do you say we take a few minutes and let's talk about some of the features inside your new fifth wheel. Whether it's one of these gorgeous half tons or a full profile, what you're gonna find is upgraded features, upgraded luxury that's really gonna make your camping experience that much better. And it all starts with towing the vehicle. Now, fifth wheels are a little bit easier to tow because of the weight distribution being more in the bed of the truck versus like a bumper pull. And you're gonna have one of many types of hitches. For example, this one here is the Rhino box. You'll notice how it comes to a point that really kind of helps with the turning radius of your vehicle. Now, your fifth wheel will also have a storage compartment up front. Usually it's prepped for a generator on most of them. Some of them may even come with a generator, but you'll notice if you do have the hydraulic leveling system like this one has, you will have a container for your hydraulic fluid. This will run out some of the slides sometimes. This will also be, your main leveling feature here. And depending on which fifth wheel that you got, the one thing that's going to remain the same is as long as you have fluid in there, you're good. And the way to test it, your level, is pull everything in. And if this is full, then you're good to go. If you have a residential fridge, your fifth wheel is also going to come with a inverter on it. Now, this one is a 1,000 watt inverter. You can have either a 1,000 or a 2,000 watt inverter. Your fifth wheels are also going to be fiberglass, great insulation. These full profiles will be high. You'll have multiple awnings on some of them, but they will all have the adjustable pitch. But as you can see, like we have right here on the front cap, this is the Solera awning, which has the pull down adjustable pitch. Kind of hard to reach. I'm 6'2", and yeah, I can't really get that one. Just be safe when you do need to adjust that pitch. And then also watch out for when you do pull it down, if there's water, make sure it doesn't dump on you. And before you roll the awning back in, put the pitch back level. You should also have an LED light strip, which is controlled by a toggle switch on the inside. Most of the awnings do have a manual override, which is located right on the edge, usually on the right-hand side. There's a rubber nozzle you pop out, you can drill that in. Your fifth wheel will also come with propane tanks, whether they're 20 pounds or 30 pounds, like we have right here. You'll see the 30-pounders. We do not have propane in here because if we did, this indicator here would go from red to green. And anytime you want to change which propane tank you use, depending on the type of control nozzle that you have, all you do is you just turn it. Now I'm pulling from this tank. I want to pull from that tank. I turn it back to the other side. Now, this unit comes with the LCI Level Up hydraulic leveling system, which you'll see underneath here. If your fifth wheel does have that, the operation command is either on the inside or on the outside of the storage. We'll get to that here in just a minute. If you do have a LP Quick Connect, you'll notice that right here. Just uncover, plug in. It does have the ball bearing attachment in there, and open and close. Very nice little feature, especially if you're bringing your grill along with you. Most fifth wheels will also have what's known as a drop frame style storage, which just means the front is built a little bit lower so that you have bigger headroom, not only in the front cap, but also more storage space. They'll also be heated and enclosed, and depending on the type of door that you have, they're either going to be side opening or top opening, anti-slam doors on everything, and your pass-through storage will also be finished off. There will be a light. Most of the times you'll have something like this here, this GFCI outlet and cable connection. You even have your control panel located behind there. You'll have spray ports, as well as GFCI outlets on most of your fifth wheels. If you're lucky enough to have an external kitchen like this one, some of them will come already set up with a grill or a burner or an induction cooktop. This one comes with a grill mount that actually just raises back up and pushes back in fairly easily. Just lift it up. You'll also have the external fridge, and this one, if your fifth wheel has the road vac system, the collection point is usually in the storage compartment. But right here, the road vac collection point is right here. You just open that up, put your tube in, and then you could do some vacuuming. You will have either sealed safety windows or the seamless windows like we have here, the frameless. For your entry points, you're either going to have, most of the fifth wheels will have the solid step above steps. Some of them will still have these steel fold outs, especially if you have multiple entry points, but these are going to be pretty much the same. If it's gas strut supported, you'll notice how easy it is to lift and pull out like this one here. Now, your legs are going to adjust based off of either a pin, a pull release system, or a lever like this one. Just push that in and then you can slide and lock them into place. And when you're setting your steps down, just make sure the top plate is flush, because that's how you can safely and securely close your door. And since this one is strut supported, just raise the fan boy up, just be safe. And there we go. This strut support arm will help keep it safe and secure. And then when you're ready to pull it down, same thing, just grab and go. Just always watch your head, watch your back, the whole nine. Now, your fifth wheel is either going to be double axle or triple axle. Most of the time, you're going to have those 7,000-pound Dexter Easy Lube axles on this. It really just depends on the type of fifth wheel that you're getting. The tires can either be air or nitro filled, but they're going to be usually the larger aluminum rims because you're looking at a premium RV, which is why you went with the fifth wheel. Your slides are either going to be above frame or through frame. And once again, they can be the rack and pinion, they can be the worm groove, they can be hydraulic, they can be electric. There's so many options on fifth wheels. Just know that it's good to have. They will mostly be insulated all the way around. Some of your fifth wheels will even have an awning on the slide. Very nice feature like you see right here. We have the Thule Crown awning, which is a scissor arm awning. Very nice indeed. If most fifth wheels, the spare tire is either going to be in the storage box up front or underneath. A lot of your fifth wheels will also have a 2-inch receiver for towing as well. Just check with your specialist to see what the towing capacity of your fifth wheel is, especially if you need to either tow another vehicle or trailer with like a golf cart on it. Most of them will also have a solid ladder mounted on the back with handles over the top for security to get up and check the roof, plus be wired for backup camera. If you're lucky enough to have slide toppers on your fifth wheel as well, these really come in handy. If not, but you see that your fifth wheel slides do have those brackets on the side, it means that they are prepped for slide toppers. This might be a tight little fit, Bobby, but we can make it. Okay. Now, your fifth wheel is going to have a water heater and a furnace, and these are, if you notice these plates, these are where those are located. Now, this one happens to have the Suburban furnace. Now, this is on the off-camp side, so it's kind of nice, which means you usually shouldn't have any chairs back here, but this is an exhaust, so hot air will be coming out. Just make sure you don't block those, especially when you're running. You're going to have a 50-amp service on most of your fifth wheels. If you do have 30-amp, just always check to make sure you got the right cord, the right connection, make sure it's securely in and locked in. And if you're not getting any juice, just check the power post, make sure the circuit breakers are on. If not, bring it in, let our folks take a look at it. Now with your water heater, like this one that we have here, you'll notice this one, now most of the water heaters, regardless of which one you have, are going to have pretty much the same similar setup. You're going to have a water pressure release valve. You're going to have an anode rod, whether it's metal or plastic cap. Just be sure to check that about once a year. You may have the reset, which is the double switch here, but you'll always have this burner tube. This is where, if you notice you're not getting any hot water, check this tube. Take a pipe cleaner and clean it out, because propane has mercaptan in it. And what that is that's a smell that is delicious to insects, especially spiders and bees. And if there's a web or something in there, you're not going to get hot water. So just clean that out. Another way to check to see if there's debris in there, you come out and the side of your RV right above this exhaust panel is getting dark, or if there's debris, that means there's some gunk in there. Just clean it out. If you're not comfortable, bring it in. Our service folks will take care of it for you. Now, our terminations on these are also located underneath, usually on the off-camp side, midway or near the rear. The gray tanks, the black tanks, when you're hooked up, just make sure that your connection is secure, and you don't have to leave them open all the time. You do want some liquid in there, especially in the black tanks, because a lot of times pyramiding can happen inside your black tank. And when you're going to flush it out, because most of your fifth wheels should have a black tank flush, like you'll see right here, use a water hose, not the potable water hose, to hook that up to your black tank. Make sure that black tank is open before you go to flush it. If not, that's not going to be a good day. Now, you'll notice your controls for your tanks, your terminations, a lot of your fifth wheels will have this external command center like we have out here. You'll have front cap lights, you'll have inside lights, you'll have your entertainment connections for your satellite, your cable. You'll also usually have a sprayer port or external shower. And then these are your hydraulic controls. If your fifth wheel does have a hydraulic leveling system or hydraulic slide system, that's your hydraulic controls there. Then you'll see your freshwater connection and your command panel telling you how to operate the external. Now you might have a hot water heater bypass, which most fifth wheels do. You know, so when you go to winterize, just make sure to check that, or just speak to your specialist at Camping World about what's the best way to do it. And if you need to know how to operate the specific command panel on your RV, make sure the techs walk you through, because this is where you can either flood that tank, fill it up, or not get any water, just based on how the switches work. Am I doing dry camping? Am I doing power tank fill? Follow the instructions, and if you have any questions, our folks will be glad to help you. If you are lucky enough to have the MORryde Easy Reel, this is a electronic reel system that will roll your power cord in and out and keep it nice and secure. Over here we have the manual drive for our hydraulic leveling system. If you do have that, you'll notice you have the connection there, as well as the coach battery. And then right here, our electronic leveling system. Now for this, if you're ready to go and ready to level, this light right here will be green. If this is the type of command panel that you have for your electronic leveling, but you notice this is red, drop all of the legs, let everything go, and then push and hold this retract down for a few seconds. What that'll do is that'll reset it. If you have another one of the panels, just try to follow the prompts based on the type of fifth wheel that you have to ensure that you get the leveling going. But talking about, I mean, making camping easy, that leveling makes life so much easier. So now that we've talked a little bit about the features on the outside, what do you say we talk about some of the features on the inside? All right, so here we are inside your new fifth wheel. Now, the first thing you usually want to look for when you walk into your fifth wheel is the command panel. Depending on the type that you have, you're either going to have a plate mounted panel or you're going to have one of these touch screens. If you're lucky enough to have a touch screen, most of the time you can control some of the operations from your cell phone. But this is where you come to check the lights, to check all your tanks, cut on your water pump, your tank heaters, which you won't need your water pump if you are hooked up to fresh water. You only use that if you're dry docking. But this is where you can see where your tank levels are. A lot of times you can control the HVAC, the lights, the slides, the whole nine. It just really depends on the unit that you got and the command system that you have. But this is where you start everything. Now, sometimes your command panel may even be inside like a little mini storage like we have here. Right here is our solar charge controller. This just lets you know with the solar panels, whether you have them pre-wired or whether they're already built in, what it's doing to the coach batteries. Now, we're hooked up to shore power, so this should be trickle charging the battery as we go. Now, you will have a lot of great features inside your fifth wheel, just like you do outside. Some of the features may be something like this max air fan that you see right here. Moves about a foot of air per second, really does a good job of getting the hot air out of your coach. Just make sure when you see the max air controls that you open the vent before you run it. That's the main thing. You'll also sometimes have ceiling fans, all types of accent lights. There's numerous switches and controls throughout your fifth wheel. And I got to tell you, a lot of times you just got to kind of flick it to figure out what does what. Now, if you do have a dinette, whether it's a booth dinette or freestanding dinette like this one that we have here, you should also have an extension for your freestanding dinette. That just works as easy as just pulling it out, pushing it back in. Sometimes they'll lift up, but that leaf just allows you to have some additional seating space when you are hosting folks. Now, your chairs will also be a little bit lighter weight. Sometimes they can fold up and store away, but you should have anchors on the floor for your chairs to keep them safe while in transit. You will have either day-night shades or roller shades to cover up your windows. Really does a good job of blacking out the light and making this almost like a private residence. If you're lucky enough to have the recliners like we have here, they should all pretty much be either lever operated with heat, massage, and USB charging, or they'll be power operated like this one that we have here. A lot of times your couches inside the fifth wheels are convertible They're either going to be a jackknife sofa that you just lift and pull out, or they're going to be a hide-a-bed or a sleeper sofa. So this one just happens to be one of the ones where you actually have the true sleeper sofa, or the true pull-out bed in there. If the cushions on the bottom stay connected when you pull out, it's just a pull-out sleeper. So kind of options that you can have there. Your entertainment, a lot of times you're going to have over 40 inches on your TV. They will be on a swivel most of the time, on a retractable arm. Very nice because you can turn it to make sure everybody inside the coach can enjoy the entertainment. And your command center will usually be either in between the sound bars, or the sound bar will be integrated in most instances. Now on this one, we have the RV Technologies, which has AM, FM, it's Bluetooth, CD and DVD player, plus you got HDMI, auxiliary, and USB or 5-volt charge. I mean, entertainment has gotten to a point these days where you're going to have good systems. Your speakers are going to be mounted in the ceilings, or they're going to be sound barred in. So it just depends on which type that you have. Like here, we have the sound bar speakers here, but a lot of times you'll see you might have subwoofers in the roof. There's just so many entertainment options. It's almost mind-boggling. With your fireplace, all of these will be electric, and they range in BTUs anywhere from 4,000 up to over 5,000 BTUs of heat. But the controls are either going to be up here with little push buttons, or like we have down here, a little touch panel. Now, multi-flame setting, multi-light settings, but these are electric. So in order to operate, you got to make sure that you're on shore power. Now, with your kitchens, inside your fifth wheels, premium upgraded features all the way across. Whether you got solid surface countertops like we have here or not, you should have an undermounted stainless steel sink. Sometimes you get the drying racks. You might get the 60-40, the 50-50, the 70-30, but you should have features like a high-rise residential faucet here with controls, you know, for open spraying, whether you just want the stream or you want the spray, but solid and opulent. Now in your cooking area, you will either have a 3-burner or, like this one, a 4-burner residential style cooktop. If you do have the 3-burner, usually the front burner is going to be your high output. You'll notice that this one here is the back left. Now, on most models, the way you would light this is, number one, check to make sure that your propane, you have it, it's on, and you're on the right tank, and it's coming through. You would usually pick the one that you wanted to heat, turn the knob, and then the knob on the far left would be the igniter. This one is auto ignition. So, no matter which one you use, and even the oven, you can probably hear the igniter popping. This is going to be an auto ignition, which is a very nice feature. Your fifth wheel will also have a microwave or a convection oven, great to have, especially while you're out camping. Now, the RVs that are coming today do have mostly residential style fridges, whether it's 12 volt or they're, you know, working off of just straight power. Usually they'll have a command panel that you can control the temperature, as well as, well, the temperature for the fridge as well as for the freezer. If you do have the water filtration in this one, you usually see the coupling for it. Sometimes you'll have the little dispenser on the side. But with these, if it's 12 volt and you're not hooked up to shore power, a lot of times they can run your batteries out in roughly 6 hours. If you are lucky enough to have like those big solar panels, you know, the 1200 watts and, you know, 400 to 1200, that can sometimes run your refrigerator. Just talk to your specialist at Camping World about, hey, how do I run this if I want to go boondocking? Is this the right fridge for me? Because there are so many options out there for fridges, especially in fifth wheels, because they are more residential. You'll also notice that you'll have multiple lights, you'll have inlays, you'll have decorative settings, you'll even have reinforcements, not only in the paneling in the roof, but also in the sides. And most of your slides will be over 6 feet in height. So you're usually looking at like 6'4" on the slides. This one, way bigger than that, especially on your full profiles. Sometimes on your half tons, not as big. More opulence continues in things like barn doors, bunk rooms like we have here. This just happens to be what's known as a mid bunk. So in here, you have the pull-out sofa sleeper. Now, you remember how I mentioned when we were looking at the sleeper sofa back there, I said if the bottom cushions stay attached, this is what I mean. You notice how that kind of pulls out. Here's your legs that come down, and then that back panel just folds down, and this creates your extra sleeping area. Form and function inside of RVs is, I think, what makes them very popular. You usually have multiple charging ports, dual USB charging ports, larger tank capacities, and most of them will be 50 amp. So if you do have like a bunk room or a loft room, you'll notice you got storage options, whether it's just a suspension netting on the wall, or if you have shelves or even storage under the bunks, like in some of the big bunk rooms, lights and entertainment. Now for the bathrooms and fifth wheels, they are going to be mostly residential in style, which means more space, more beauty, more features. Now this one just has the mirror right here, but a lot of times you'll have the medicine cabinet, just happens to be located behind me on this one. We see there. You'll always have lots of pantry storage, and in most fifth wheels you'll have the porcelain high-rise bowl with the foot flush, which with this one, if you just need a little bit of water, you just kind of tap it, that'll fill the water in. But if you push it, it'll open up the access to the black tank. Now, if you ever notice that the water is not draining properly, you can actually just take some Vaseline and rub it on the bottom of that black seal, and that'll help keep everything in motion. Sinks with hot and cold. You'll see how we got the hot and cold, and then you lift to activate the water. Your shower, most of them will be walk-in enclosures with glass, with glass doors. Very nice feature. Usually we'll have a skylight in there, which gives you some additional headroom. And you will have oversized shower heads in most of your fifth wheels. And this just kind of controls the flow of the water and the style, much like the residential shower heads that we have in our homes. Now, your HVAC system, and your air conditioning and your heating in these, depending on whether you have a 15,000 BTU AC or you have, twin 13.5s, twin 15s, whatever, you're going to have a little bit more of an upgraded HVAC system with the ducting work like we see right here to, the 30,000, 20,000, whatever BTU furnace you have inside your fifth wheel ducted into the flooring. Just remember that unlike residential, your AC in here can, if it's 95 degrees outside and you want it to be 70 degrees in here, that AC is going to work a lot harder than it would at your home, because the walls aren't as thick as they are in your home. So if you need to run that AC, try to keep it on just high, not auto, because they can freeze up on you if you run them on auto. Inside your master, you usually have a queen size or a king size bed. For example, this one happens to be nestled in its own slide with dual USB charging on both sides. You usually have some nice decorative window dressings, panels. This one, there happens to be storage above the window dressing on this one, which is a nice feature. It means you're not rolling over in the middle of the night and hitting your head on an armrest. Here you'll see the additional storage under the bed. Those are our chairs, which you saw in the freestanding dinette. A lot of the chairs inside the RVs will fold up and store away. Another great feature, and why you should get RV furniture as opposed to residential. Now, if your fifth wheel is washer dryer prepped, you'll see the connections right here, as well as the power. And if you're lucky enough to have one that comes already pre-wired with a router, a lot of times you'll see that either in the kitchen or inside your master bedroom area. And all that means is if it's already pre-wired for Wi-Fi, 4G LTE extension, which pretty much all RVs are, that's just a nice feature if you already have the router built in. And last but not least, if you're trying to run anything electric inside your fifth wheel and it's not working, you've checked the power post, you got power, we're connected, but for some reason I'm not getting AC, I'm not getting whatever. You have a command panel right here with these little circuits right here, and these circuits are color. So if and they're pre-lit. So if there's a red light on any of those, that means that breaker's bad, and you got to pop it out and swap it. Very nice little feature. And then also all RVs also come with LPO2 detector, which is usually located near the circuit box, like you see down there. But hopefully this little walkthrough is giving you some tips. and is giving you some ideas of some of the features you can find inside your beautiful new fifth wheel. If at any time you have any questions or need help, please just come by, bring your unit by any Camping World location, or give us a call, because the one thing we definitely want to make sure is that you enjoy that camping experience.